Good morning and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am Jam, and this is a show where we get to hang out. We talk about games, board games, card games, but today, role playing games. We're talking about what makes them beautiful and exciting. And I have oh, and I've got to say that one of the cool things we're doing is this is fast, fun, furious, frenetic, feverish, several other F word February. And this is a season of the year where fans of Savage Worlds, which I am, put together products for the Creator Jam. We're putting together ideas, and this year's idea is about creatures. And we developed the Vespula last week, which was awesome. The idea of these lich insect queens that send out their multi-armed drones to just conquer and corrupt the world. Yes, John Doom did complete his February entry, which is spectacular. John Doom, well done. Good morning to Grom and James and John Doom and Padre and everyone else who is in the chat. It is great to have all of you here. So today, everyone, we are going to design a supervillain for Savage Worlds, possibly to use in some upcoming product that I write or in your own Supers game. So let me grab my SPC off the shelf. And let's get started. We're going to crowdsource it today. Today we're going to come up with maybe a name, maybe a set of powers, and a background for the supervillain, and then we'll design the supervillain on Thursday. So the first question I have for the chat is, what kind of supervillain are we looking at here? Are we looking at a Marvel Knights sort of street level villain, somebody like the Hood or the Riddler or the Joker? Classics right there. Do we want to do somebody with a little bit more umph to them, something more in the 4-color range? So Lex Luthor, Doc Ock, Doctor Doom, those sort of characters. Or do we want to go cosmic? Throw out Thanos, Darkseid, Brainiac, those kind of characters. So what power level are we looking at? Are we looking at street level? Are we looking at 4-color? Or are we looking at cosmic? And again, we're going to source this from the chat today. 4-color or less. Are we feeling... All right, John Doom, you've put the limit on it. No cosmic. My gut says that we look toward with an infernal powered supervillain. All right, we're going to do an infernal powered. And let's make it 4-color. So we're going to make it power level 3. All right, so power level 3 will give us 45 points to spend and a power limit of 15 per point. Obviously, this character will be a wild card. So Padre, when you say infernal powered, are we thinking maybe the wielder of an ancient sword forged by a demon lord to drain the souls of the victim and channel it into the wielder? Are we thinking of someone who maybe engages in black magic and has access to super sorcery and ends up sacrificing victims to his or her dark lord? Or are we thinking more possessed by the spirit of a Nephilim, this descendant of this ancient giant king's latest descendant has been possessed by this evil spirit from the Bronze Age who is continuing its long-term goal of corruption and destruction? Kind of like that last one, unless anyone in the chat has a specific sort of bent to this. I like dark. The darker the better. Someone who makes the players scared. All right, so we're going to go, this is not misunderstood evil. This is true evil. All right, so we're going to do a possessing entity. A Nephalemic spirit of antediluvian origins who can possess his ancestors. Now, for those of you who apparently have never talked with me or listened to this show before, what we're going with is the idea that in Genesis, it says the sons of God lay with the daughters of Adam and produce this race of giants. And if you dig into Second Temple Judaism and the Book of Enoch and other parts of the Apocrypha, what you discover is there's this whole tradition of the Watcher angels, this choir of angels who falls and gives mankind a ton of knowledge they should not have, like before their time, and it corrupts and destroys mankind, which is why the flood comes along, and the leader of these Nephilim, Mastema, goes to God and says, hey, I know you're going to wipe us all out, but what if instead we worked for you? And the Lord says, all right, I'm going to put most of you in the abyss, but I will save some of you to torment the wicked, but not like your plan of just tormenting the wicked. It will be for my glory. So sort of this idea of the left hand of God that deals out, evil for the redemption of the world. And that's where the Nephilim spirits come from. That's why even after the destruction of the world and the giants, we still have giants until about the time of King David. And these are actually the evil spirits that are referred to in the Synoptic Gospels during the exorcisms, because at the time, we talk about demonic possession, but this is really more Nephalemic spirit or evil spirit possession, which is what the evil spirits that are being talked about in the Synoptic Gospels, also including great things like, during the casting out of Legion, where the demon says, hey, are you here to cast me into the abyss before the appointed time? Like, this is all referencing all of this data. So that is my brief download. Yes, and in 2 Peter, and it's referenced in Jude, basically all of the weird parts of the New Testament that don't seem to make sense when talking about angels or exorcisms, all are sort of referring to this tradition that, not in the West, but in like Western post-Luther Christianity, we have completely lost. So, brief digression to theological topics, but I feel like, yes, John Doom, that does mean pre-flood. It also refers to a set of vampires, as John Doom also pointed out, that are the really nasty ones. The progenitors, right? Progenitors? The antediluvians are obviously the Gen 3. I think I just caught up on John's chat without actually reading John's chat. All right, so in the body of a very friendly and unassuming looking character. So yeah, I like that idea, Molly. So we have this immortal, wicked spiritual being who comes about due to some interaction between the supernatural and the natural worlds. And this spirit has been roaming the world for the last 6,000 years. And obviously there are a lot of descendants. We could even build a cult around this, to where the cult serves the spiritual master and then prepares the physical vessels for its sort of demonic incarnation. I kind of like this bad guy, which also gives the it also gives the ability for the PCs to possibly redeem the host, while maintaining this lineage with this ancient immortal entity that can just keep coming back. Because that's one of the things, is that, right, a Nephilim is essentially by choice, but there's also like free will. So maybe the host can be redeemed. Yeah, almost like the Order of the Blackened Denari, but worse. Grom, that's a great idea. If we want to go with this idea of the left hand of God, maybe this creature is out there for one of two reasons. One, to either, kind of the old Miltonian, to curse God and all of his creations, right? It is better to reign in hell than serve in heaven kind of a thing. Or we could go with sort of an Order of Judas kind of mindset. The Gnostic Gospel of Judas, which suggests that Judas is indeed the greatest of all saints because he willingly damned himself so that the line of salvation could be preserved. We go either way, but I do kind of like this idea of he sees the targets as needing to be punished. The wicked who scourges the wicked out of some self-serving or misinterpreted understanding of sort of he kind of misses the point of the, I will use you to torment the wicked for the redemption of their souls. And it's just like, I'm going to go out and punish the wicked, and in doing so kind of get my revenge. We could call him Mastema if we wanted. I mean, Mastema is sort of the leader of those rebellious entities, and I kind of like the idea that maybe this guy isn't Mastema, but is sort of claiming to be this Nephilimic spirit. I realize we have gone way down the ancient world rabbit hole here, but I am whom I am, and you kind of get what you pay for. Judas and the Dresden Files was good. Also, if you guys have seen 30 Coins, this reminds me a little bit of the antagonists in 30 Coins, the secret order of cardinals within the Catholic Church that are attempting to recover the 30 coins so that they can be the most evil and therefore cause the most redemption in the world. It's kind of misses the whole point of Paul's, should we sin so that there is more grace in the world? Let it never be so. All right, so what kind of, obviously I want to give this guy super sorcery. And John Doom, that's super sorcery, not soup or sorcery. In which case, I'd pick sorcery every time. I'm not really a big soup guy. But what other abilities? Man, if my Sunday school was like this, Mark, I would have paid way more attention. What other abilities do we kind of see this possessing entity having? Does it enhance the physical attributes of its host, which I feel like it could, right? The Nephilim were known as the giants. So I think there's got to be some sort of physical presence that manifests. And yes, we definitely have to do puppet, because that is how the spirit will actually puppet its vessels. I mean, do we give it the size up and vigor and unstoppable? I'll see about unstoppable. We all know that JM loves unstoppable. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Savage Worlds, the reason I like unstoppable is because it's a BS monster ability. I'm just going to toss it out there. That ensures that no matter how well your players roll, they can only inflict one wound at a time. Which means that you're guaranteed need at least 3 hits to take out 3 unsoaked hits to take out the bad guy. Grom, I love the idea of a minion cult. Poison cloud or damage field. What do we like better? I mean, I do like the idea of like kind of like all right, we're gonna give him a damage field as well. All right, so what we have here is an intangible spirit that's immortal, that puppets its ancestors and has a massive cult following. Sort of like my life with the Thrill Kill cult. And enhances the physical attributes and toughness of the puppets that it controls, as well as possessing just sort of this radiant damage field. Ooh, a fatiguing damage field. That is some next level ass hattery, John Doom. I like that a lot. All right, so essentially, we now have this supervillain for a super team that can't be killed and will come back, but you can temporarily rob it of a prepared vessel, which is also something that you can do in Vendom with the Giant King. So like this is Padre like right in my wheelhouse. Weakness to water, I like that. Sort of a we'll do water, and I think we need to do we'll give it some of the same, maybe a little vampiric tie-ins, like weakness to kind of classic Christian symbols. So cross, crucifix, holy water doing the most, and then the Eucharist wafer. Grom says, I can see cultists welcoming the blessings of the Chosen One and being willing to possess and die. And maybe that's our key here. What if we do it where it can possess any of its minions, but it burns through them? But those direct descendant ties allow it to like really incarnate, get its hook into the material world. So we have sort of two levels of puppet. Ben! Good to see you. I haven't. Which Tim Powers book is the Lamia in? I've only read 2 Tim Powers books. I've only read Last Call and what is it, the Covenant of Salt and Fish. So that would have been Declare. Declare is just amazing. All right, so we have, in kind of a really weird way, created a Nephilim villain the way they should be created. I love Nephilim, the role-playing game by Greg Stafford, but it really looks like I could never play the Nephilim role-playing game because it really feels like they look at all of this thing and says, but what if the Nephilim were the player characters? This is how I run Nephilim in my game. So we have a massive cult. We have tracking of bloodlines and preparations for ritual sacrifices. These are all great adventure hooks. We have a reoccurring immortal spirit that will most likely has the vengeful hindrance, so that when the players actually mess with it and mess up its plans or rob or redeem one of its hosts, it targets them for vengeance as long as it possibly can. You need a crucifix that has a dagger blade that injects holy water on a strike. I feel like I've seen that movie. These days you can get one of them on Etsy. I actually just finished, speaking of vampires, I just finished Salem's Lot for the first time. I've seen, I think, all of the movie adaptations of Salem's Lot, but I've never read Salem's Lot, and I just finished that up this morning. All right, so on Thursday, Lord willing, knocking on wood here, we will build this character in Savage Worlds, and that'll be the second of our 3 creature features for February. So, if you haven't, you should definitely, and I'll put links in the show notes, you should go check out John Doom's homage to sort of 80s horror. adventure that he did for the Creator Jam. It's spectacular. I got to see a preview copy of it. I need to go out and buy it, and I will go out and buy it, John Doom. And so go check that out. We'll probably be doing more discussions on this on Savage Universe this week and next week. Yes, the Garden Gnome Massacre. Pretty sure it's the only Garden Gnome Massacre on all of Drive-Thru RPG. But I will see you all on Thursday, where we will finish this creature. Thank you guys for all joining me. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I am JM. This has been Behind the Screen, and I will see you all on Thursday. Till then, have a good one, everybody.